Alright, hello guys, so welcome to my review of Logan, a masterpiece of a film. So let's just get straight into it. So we kind of see Logan like more older, but you know, seems like he can actually die in this film, because you can kind of tell that he's not being able to heal like he normally can. I mean, they kind of hinted something like this could happen in the Wolverine, but yeah, this is where it actually starts to happen. Yeah, where you can't really heal like how he could, yeah. And he ends up getting in a fight with these Mexican guys and ends up just brutally killing them, which kind of shows that this is more of like an R-rated film compared to the Wolverine, which, you know, that was like compared to like Wolverine, which was like you know PG-13, yeah. But yeah, you can literally see him just destroying people in this film. I just stabbing them, like you could just see their limbs and stuff getting ripped off. It's just perfection, but I just don't know if I can show too much because, you know, copyright stuff. But yeah, it's a perfect film. And straight after this, we kind of see that it's like basically a limo driver, you could say. Yeah, it's what he does to, like, I guess, pay the bills and to possibly have a plan to get Charles away from everyone, because I guess in this version of the Old Man Logan storyline, which I guess it's adapting like a book from which I guess it's like, I mean, I don't even know how that version ends, but it's basically Wolverine's final story. All the X-Men are dead, and I think they basically said that he killed all the X-Men, he just lost control, and he's just living the rest of his days just wandering until he finally dies. And I guess they're going a different approach of it in this movie. But yeah, at this point, the adamantium in his body is kind of slowly poisoning him, even though at the end of the film they kind of said that they've kind of like poisoned the foods for mutants to like wipe out most of them. So basically, if they eat anything, they're basically screwed. Yeah, and that kind of kills off a lot of them, I guess. And it's either the adamantium inside of him or the food, or a combination of both, that's just got to the point where he's not really healing anymore in some areas of his body. And he sometimes has to use like some kind of adrenaline booster to help him heal. Yeah. And I guess occasionally he kind of goes to like the graves of the X-Men, the fallen X-Men. Because yeah, in this version of the story, instead of Wolverine killing them, I guess it's Charles Xavier. He just kind of loses his mind. I mean, they kind of tease what he's capable of in X2. You could wipe out all humans or all mutants if you really wanted to. But instead, like, if you're kind of near like the area that is in, and he just loses his mind, he could literally kill anyone in that area. So I guess the rest of the government kind of view him as like a huge threat at that point, if he's possibly still alive. Yeah. And I kind of get signs that he's still alive because I guess a lot of people were injured when Charles first went through that seizure and killed a lot of the X-Men. I mean, who knows if there was any that survived it apart from Logan, but yeah. And then there's this guy who I guess is following him, who knows that he's been talking with is it Abigail? Because she was trying to talk to him when he was at the graveyard, and you know, Wolverine just didn't want to talk to her. Well, I'll say Logan in this film anyway, since it's not really Wolverine in this film. It's just a guy trying to survive and spend the rest of his days in peace, but there's always something that keeps getting in the way of his plan, because I guess even after everything that happened and Charles killing the X-Men, he just wants to be at peace, like somewhere far away from, you know, all the dangers of the world and how much they've extincted his race. He just wants to be there with Charles, yeah, in a peaceful place until, you know, Charles passes on, and then he's kind of got like a adamantium bullet ready for when he wants to go to. Yeah. So yeah, the vibe of this film is just really depressing, but it's done so well, especially with being R-rated too. The things they're able to do with this film, and I guess Caliban from the previous film, but I guess he'd be older in this film. It's kind of with Logan and Charles. I guess they got each other's backs. Yeah. It's kind of weird out of all the characters they decided to use him, but he's cool, I guess. Seems like he has a relationship with them, but then, Charles ends up, having a seizure, and Logan has to, inject him with something to stop him. Yeah. And Charles in this film, he's completely lost his mind. Yeah. He feels way more broken than he was in Days of Future Past. Because it's possibly like how he felt in Days of Future Past, while having well, basically he's kind of senile because he is old, but and then his powers could possibly kill tons of people who are around the area. Yeah, so when they get him into a public area, let's just say that causes a lot of trouble. Yeah. And Charles is just kind of dangerous to the public, so Logan kind of keeps him in areas so he doesn't hurt anyone. Yeah. And Charles just feels like he's just being used to just be kept in the place until he dies. Yeah. And I guess he kind of forgets why he's actually here. Yeah. And Caliban kind of works out that, he's probably not going to be able to stay with him because Logan just wants to set out into a place where I guess they'll be by themselves, and Caliban can't really do that because his skin's kind of allergic to light, so when he gets exposed, it kind of burns his skin, so he's kind of like a vampire in that way. Yeah. And Caliban kind of realises that there's a lot wrong with Logan, him not healing and stuff. Bailey trying to get by, and Logan just wants him to stay out of his business, I guess. And I think this is when he kind of sees Laura for the first time, who Abigail was trying to talk about. Because basically there's these kids that are kind of have been experimented on, and they basically end up being the rest of the mutants at this point. I mean, it's unclear if any of the other mutants are still alive, but small amount, yeah. In the entire Earth population, yeah, they must have been wiped out. But Abigail wants Logan's help to help the rest of the mutants, I guess. Yeah. Even though the job, I think, was just to get to a certain location, and then I guess they'd take care of the rest. But things end up going so wrong. Abigail ends up dying and stuff. Yeah. And he was just gonna take the job for money. Yeah. But things go sideways. He ends up having that guy after him, chasing him through the whole film. Yeah. He wasn't a bad villain. Yeah, he was cool. This guy's just so persistent on finding Laura, who basically is X-23. Yeah. And the kids. And I guess Logan's ready to fight him. And I think is it Laura who ends up just knocking that guy out, and then they just want to dump him somewhere. But I guess he ends up waking up and holding Caliban hostage. Yeah. And then Charles, there's still a part of him, the caring side of him, that's still there, even though it's just so messed up in this film. Yeah. Basically Charles at his worst and most dangerous. And like I said, Caliban gets held hostage, so they end up using him for the rest of the film. And then when they end up finding and coming back, I guess Logan and Charles leave, but Charles wants Laura to come with him. But at this point, Logan saved so many people. He just wants to look out for himself at this point because they could possibly die in this situation, and they don't want to try risk their lives for a stranger. And Charles, he kind of knows how special she really is, and it gets kind of revealed anyway. Because she basically has the same abilities as Logan, because basically it's his daughter. Yeah. But they kind of used his DNA and ended up making her. Yeah. They also made something else, but we'll get to that. And just end up seeing flipping Laura just destroying these people. Man, the actor they got for X-23 in this film is just so cool. and she kicks ass. Yeah. She's brutal. Yeah. And I've seen her growing up. I wonder what kind of stuff she does now. But yeah, I mean, I've never watched like his Dark Materials or whatever it's called, but yeah, that's interesting. I'll watch it someday. Yeah, because I know she's been in that. And you just seen Wolverine just be working together with her, and they all end up leaving together. Yeah, and Caliban's just kind of used to like find him, since that's how his power works. He's able to find other mutants. So if they had him the whole time, damn, all the mutants would be dead. It'd be over. Yeah. His powers especially made to basically wipe out the mutants, and he was helping them for the longest time. So possibly when he was like finding those other mutants with Mystique in Apocalypse, he was possibly dooming them for the future too. Yeah. And then like I guess when Logan's just trying to find some help, like I guess X-23, well, Laura goes into a store and starts eating stuff, not paying for it, and then she nearly flipping kills the store guy, and then Logan has to come and stop her. Yeah. It's a funny little moment, but yeah, because she doesn't really understand the world. She's just been locked up for so long, experimented on, and they kind of show what actually happened on a video. Yeah, what it was doing to these kids and the rest of the mutants, trying to make them into weapons. Yeah. Then you end up in some casino hotel place to stay for a bit. I guess Charles kind of bonds with her a little bit while talking about Logan, and I guess his favourite film when he was a kid. Yeah. And then I guess when Logan sees her reading like I guess X-Men comic books, he just says like most of it in there is fake. It doesn't mean anything. It's all a lie. And he's just been brutally honest to her that everything's not fairy tales. People die. Yeah. And Giles is just saying, chill out, bro. It's just a kid. But from what she's been through, that's probably something she's used to. Yeah. And then you see, I guess the main villain of the film going to the store guy, and I guess he ends up torturing him, which I'm not sure why he had to do that, but yeah. So I guess Logan ends up staying in a bar for a little bit while they saw a ride. And then I guess he notices the villains have kind of found him, so he has to get him out. But then Charles has another seizure, and basically everyone inside this casino hotel ends up frozen. And I guess Wolverine's trying to get to him since he's the only one who can stop it. Like, he's just struggling to get there, and you just see Wolverine basically just stab these guys in the head while he's trying to get to Charles, because Charles probably felt like he was in danger, so he just flipping had a seizure. Yeah. I just seen him stabbing him in the head while Charles has him frozen. And then the X-23 also helping too. Yeah. It's a cool moment. Because, they're just kind of using Caliban to, like, find him. But he's kind of, like, not fully helping him. He's kind of just giving him little trails, so it gives him a chance to escape. Yeah. And then introduce this scientist guy who just, oh man, ends up making things a lot harder for our heroes. Yeah. But I don't even know if you can just call them heroes at this point. They're just trying to survive because they're about to go extinct, man. And then they end up finding these people who they kind of find in a car accident, and I guess they end up helping them. So it kind of reminisces to like in X-Men Origins Wolverine, where a group of strangers ended up helping Logan. Yeah. So that's kind of like just flipping foreshadowing what's gonna happen to them. Yeah. This innocent family. Yeah, the scientist guy just ends up manipulating Caliban to find him faster. And then I guess the thing I was talking about earlier, their secret weapon. Yeah. They end up using it in this scene, and this ends up being the happiest part of the film. Just seeing, Logan, Laura, Charles, and his family all being happy, just helping them out. Yeah. Giving them a place to stay, food. Yeah. It's a nice scene. And It's probably the happiest time Charles has had, and Logan, since they've been on the run. But yeah, happiness comes at a cost in this film. Jesus. Yeah. Then Logan takes him to bed, and it's kind of sad. This is probably their final talk together. Yeah. Saying you still have time, because Charles probably feels like he's gonna die any moment, which, yeah. When we get to those scenes, and then I guess Logan just goes out and helps the person that helps him, yeah, since they have a little issue, I guess, with power or something, and then Laura's just trying to understand what I guess the son's using, yeah, and the son lets Laura listen to it. And then, like, I guess these hillbillies end up coming and disturbing him, and Wolverine's just ready to, like, just rip him to shreds. But they're able to defuse it, I guess. But then the secret weapon of the villains comes and kills Charles. And Charles probably thinks, like, Logan killed him, because this thing literally looks like Wolverine. Yeah. And ends up killing Charles, yeah. And then, Logan ends up hearing what happens and goes to see what's going on. And you just see this flipping thing that looks like Logan just kill the family that helped him. Yeah. And, Logan ends up seeing what it is. And it just looks exactly like him. And he's just trying to get Charles to safety. Even though he's just slowly dying and, yeah, he's not going to make it. Then you just see this X-24, that's what it's called. Just kill all these hillbillies that end up coming back from before. Yeah. When they was going to give Logan and that guy trouble, but then, flipping X-24 just massacres them. Yeah. Because it's basically like a clone of Wolverine, but no soul. Basically the weapon they wanted to make the whole time. And yeah, Wolverine ends up fighting X-24, but he realizes he has no chance because, Logan in this film is just at his weakest. He's barely hanging on, and after this fight, he nearly dies, man. I just seen Logan at his weakest in this film. Damn. Like, we thought we saw the worst of it in the Wolverine, but in this film, Jesus, he's near death's door, and X-23 sees Charles's body, someone that she ended up caring about, and she's just pissed and just can't calm down. But Logan does his best to calm her down. Yeah. And the scientist ends up healing X-24 after their fight. Yeah, and then, Logan ends up, burying Charles. Yeah, you just see him grieving, man. And he's just so pissed after this, and then he destroys the entire truck. And he just passes out. But then I guess a doctor ends up helping him. Who knows if Laura just dragged him the whole way to a doctor. Yeah. And I guess this doctor seems nice. He actually wants to help him, but anyone that helps Logan ends up dying, so he didn't want to stay too long. He just wanted to get out of there. Yeah. Then they end up leaving, travelling to the destination, because I guess that comic book Laura was reading, it actually has the coordinates to the place that Laura wants to go, and we'll find her, the other mutants, the people that she used to be with, yeah, the other mutants, at some Eden place. And Logan doesn't really want to go there, and for the first time, X-23 finally talks to him, because this is the place he's been trying to get to. But she was probably only, saying it to Charles the whole time, yeah. But now she has no choice but to say it to, Logan, yeah. At least we can finally see him bond properly, yeah. And I guess they know about the kids, so probably gonna go after them too. And maybe that's why they want Laura the whole time anyway, to be able to find the kids as well. But they also want to get rid of any evidence, since that's the thing they experimented on, so they want to make sure they don't just go free and be able to expose the stuff they've been doing. Yeah. And they end up actually finding the place, yeah. And the other mutants, they end up helping Logan because he passes out again. Like, the amount of times he passes out in this film, near the end, man. Oh, it's like you're just dreading what's possibly coming, yeah. because this character we've grown up with is just like his weakest in this film. And the kids end up helping him because, you know, Logan kind of tells, you know, what Logan did for her. And they end up doing what they can for him. And I guess he was kind of out of it for like 2 days too. Yeah. And they end up just playing around with Logan, like cutting his hair and stuff. And I guess they plan to like leave this area to go to the border, so they'll be in safety. So, you know, they won't be able to touch him at that point. Like, the rest of the mutants will be safe. Yeah. And I guess Logan's just ready to depart from Laura. I think she'll just be safe now. I guess Logan just wants to accept death at this point, but Laura just keeps him holding on just a little bit longer, because that's what Charles wanted, and that's what I guess Charles told Laura. Yeah. And I guess, you know, Logan finally gets his payment for helping them, but, you know, he doesn't really need it anymore since, you know, Charles is gone, and decides to let, you know, the kids have it. Yeah. And yeah, he's just basically saying that he's done and doesn't need to come with Laura. He's just ready to die. And then I guess Laura just has to accept it, even though she doesn't really want that. Probably would want, you know, to come with them, but, you know, he's just basically ready to die in this film. And at the end, after losing everything, I mean, he basically already lost everything before this movie even started, with the X-Men dying. But Charles was the last thing he had. He just wanted to be at peace, like, somewhere with him. But now he doesn't even have that anymore. So he's just ready to die. Yeah. And Noah just leaves angrily, I guess. And then we wake up to the morning, and he realizes they're all gone, but then he also realizes the villains are kind of following them. So he goes to help them, and I think he takes the last of the serum that makes him temporarily stronger. Yeah. And they end up getting chased by the villains, and you kind of get to see some of the kids' powers in the scene too. But yeah, Logan just takes the rest of the serum. Yeah, just kind of seeing the kids trying to get away. And then we just get to see probably the best stuff we've ever seen from Logan, like just destroying these people. This is the most hyped part of the entire film. Ultimate climax, just Logan going all out. Just unleashing the animal. Yeah, one final time. Yeah, what a final moment. Yeah. And you just seen all the other mutants helping out too. But then X-24 comes and, oh, yeah, that's when things get dark. They also killed the main guy that was after him too, like, the kid mutants just end up just destroying him, burying him alive. Yeah. And it seems like Logan nearly defeats him, but he ends up getting the upper hand, yeah. And one of the kids end up, you know, subduing X-24 for a little bit, but he ends up getting back up, yeah. And Logan's just saying to go! And Logan just knows he's going to die in this moment, yeah. And flipping X-24 gets back up and just drags flipping Logan with his claw and just throws him into a flipping tree. And yeah, this is basically it for Logan, yeah. And basically the bullet that you know, Logan was going to use on himself, X-23 uses it on X-24 and, you know, basically kills him. And then we just get to see you know, the last goodbye. Yeah. It's just a sad farewell. Probably had a tear, and I was crying inside when I first seen this. Yeah. And, you know, Logan just wants her to get out of here. And saying, "Don't be like me." Yeah. Don't let them let you be an animal. Just hopefully she has a better life than Logan. Yeah. And passes away. Yeah, it's a sad scene. Mourns him. Because she only got to know him for a week, but it was still her dad, basically. Yeah. And she finally says it in the scene too. And she buries him, but kind of turns the cross into like a X, you know, X-Men. Yeah. Then the movie ends to black. And she ends up leaving, you know, with the others. And at least he died protecting the rest of the mutants. Yeah. And that's pretty much it, yeah. what a way to end the franchise. But they still kind of made more. I mean, I enjoyed Deadpool 2. Dark Phoenix, an average film. Not even above average like Apocalypse, just an average film. And then New Mutants, that movie's all over the place. And that was basically it for Fox. They just gave up. Just gave the rights to Disney, so they could do stuff with him in the MCU, which they still haven't done yet. And I guess we're going to get Deadpool 3 to see Wolverine again, but I just hope it doesn't erase this film, because this film's a masterpiece. Yeah. Like, if you just basically rewatch the films and just end it here, it's a perfect ending for the franchise, really. Yeah. It's dark and bleak, but at least there's some kind of good ending there. With, Logan's daughter surviving and just leaving with the rest of the mutants to safety, where they can be at peace. Yeah. And I'd be fine with that ending. Yeah. But yeah, guys, what do you think of this film? Do you think it's a masterpiece, and is it your favourite X-Men movie, or possibly a comic book movie of all time? Because I know a lot of people feel that way. It's definitely in my top 5 X-Men films. Yeah. But yeah, guys, appreciate it if you leave a like. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.